the 2017 Gibraltar Darts Trophy. We're about to get the action underway. All matches will be played over the best of 11 legs throughout the tournament. So please welcome our first player from England, Alan Tabern. Alan's opponent from the Netherlands, please welcome Jeffrey Zwaan.
One week ago we were in Sindelfingen for the European Darts Grand Prix. 7 days on we find ourselves on the balcony of the continent for the 5th European Tour event of the year, the Gibraltar Darts Masters. Good afternoon and welcome along. This is a tournament with a roll of honour that features Phil Taylor, James Wade and the two-time champion Michael van Gerwen. And it's an event that's established a unique identity away from the regular visits to Germany and Central Europe. Plenty on the agenda today. Former Euro Tour winner Steve Beaton is on stage, so too John Henderson, a Tour finalist a couple of years ago, and it's a big occasion as well for teenager Callan Rydz, who makes his Euro Tour debut later in this afternoon session. Another man making his debut on the rock as well is alongside me for this opener, Chris Murphy.
Yeah, thanks Rob. And Rob Malarkey also returns after running the London Marathon a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, this should be easier by comparison.
Got his priorities all wrong while we were in Saarbrücken. But here we've got a 21-year-old against, well, a veteran player in Alan Tabern, 50 years old.
First leg, Alan to throw first. Game on.
Former World Championship quarter-finalist, now playing his trade on the Challenge Tour, but playing it pretty well. He reached a final
82.
Just a few weeks ago, Alan Tabern. Lost out to Mark Dubbridge in one for the, well, it seems like a flashback to a decade ago, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
80.
Jeffrey Zwaan, the Black Cobra, making his first Euro Tour appearance of the year, has a smattering of pedigree over the last year and a half
60.
or so. But as George Noble said in his introduction, all matches best of 11 legs
140.
in this European Tour format, as always, once again this weekend. The seeded players join the party tomorrow, so we have the qualifiers in action today. 5 local
82.
qualifiers on stage as well for you today. We'll talk about the likes of Dyson Parodi and Dylan Duo in due course as well.
Yeah, those seeded players
82.
include Peter Wright, who's been cleaning up on the European Tour so far this year. Won 3 of the 4 events.
140.
The other one's gone to Michael van Gerwen. Van Gerwen opting out of this weekend's action
27, Alan, you require 130.
to prepare for the Premier League finals next Thursday. Of course, Van Gerwen takes on Gary Anderson in the semi-finals, and Peter Wright plays Phil Taylor in his last ever Premier League
82.
evening. Adrian Lewis missed double 12 for a 9-dart leg last night. Well, this was the scene of the last European Tour 9-darter, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4 years ago
97,
and counting.
55.
So Tabern here on 55 for the opening leg. Potential 17-dart leg for him. I think that's strayed the other side of the wire, has it? He's looking quizzically at it. Yes, it did. So he's just had to readjust here. Topsy
35.
once, but just opened the door that for Zwaan, that loose first start.
I think
46.
there was an error on the scoreboard there.
20.
Because he threw the 5 and then went for the bullseye.
Yeah, George Noble said he required 80, so yeah, that would have made sense.
Tabern does require a double 10 for the opener. Now he requires double 5.
He's short in the first leg.
And it's first
Alan
blood
Tabern.
to the 50-year-old from St Helens.
Throw first. Game on.
His solitary win on the European Tour last year was in the first round in Sindelfingen as Zwaan kicks things off with a 180.
190.
Yeah, Alan Tabern's qualifying run for this included a 6-5 win against Kyle Anderson, so a big result for him there before going on to beat Rob Hewson.
90.
The afternoon session will be this will be followed by Johnny Clayton against Justin Pipe. Then we've got Richie Corn and Darren Webster. Later on, we've got Paul Nicholson taking on Chris Quantock Nicholson, of course, in the commentary box last weekend, but this weekend he's back on the stage.
100.
Yeah, he's in fine fettle as well. He was in good spirits earlier when we just caught up with him briefly before the action started here in Gibraltar.
60.
Interesting.
131.
These two are fairly evenly matched in the betting. We'll just see if Zwaan can do any damage with this 131, which he won't for the time being.
83.
But he will be back with Tabern on 182.
Yeah, they both fired a couple of loose starts earlier on, but this is a decent leg from Zwaan. Tabern's going to be looking over his shoulder.
140. Jeffrey require 48.
So, two more of those, and
Short in the second leg.
we are level at one apiece. But yeah, I was just making the point, Chris, these two fairly evenly matched in the betting prior to the start of play. When you look at Zwaan's record this year, he's had a really torrid 2017 so far, losing 9 successive first-round matches
100.
in the Players' Championship. 13 in succession if you take it back to the end of last year as well. He finally got on the board with a win against Dirk van Dijvenbode in Wigan a fortnight
96.
ago, before losing to Adrian Lewis. He lost in the first round of the UK Open as well. And his most recent productive tournament was the 18th event of the Development Tour when he reached the final in the autumn of last year. He lost that to Corey Cadby, who was in good form at the time. Went on to win the World Youth Championship, of course, the Tasmanian. So, Zwaan here, I mean, a win would be fairly uncharted territory for him as far as this year is concerned.
Yeah, it's interesting how they've come to that conclusion of pitting them at a similar price, the odds compilers, because Zwaan is on the professional tour. Alan Tabern is not. He's playing on the Challenge Tour, of course. But he's winning on the Challenge Tour more than he's losing, where Zwaan is losing more than he's winning by a ratio from what you've just described, 100%.
58.
Yeah. It's a bit like matching an FA Cup tie. You've got, say, Sunderland at the bottom Premier League getting beaten week in, week out. If they were to play Newcastle or Brighton, they'd probably find it tough going. It's that sort of
60.
comparison. I'm going to be in trouble now for talking about Newcastle and Sunderland with one or two Geordies in town this weekend.
Well, it certainly started to follow that pattern, hasn't it?
85.
1-1 in legs, not much between them in the scoring in each of those legs. Zwaan down to a finish, but if Tabern can find a treble, although the loose start at the start has hindered him somewhat.
85. Jeffrey, you require
That's okay, but
122.
he's in contention here, Zwaan, for a break of throw. Well, would have done without that.
69. And you require 100.
But still in contention, Zwaan, for a break of throw in this third leg.
Let's see if we can have our first ton plus finish. 54 for the ball.
Yep.
Bullseye it is. Oh, and it moved, didn't it?
It was a good attempt by Tabern. It earns a ripple of applause in the crowd here. Tops then for Zwaan for the first break.
Jeffrey Zwaan.
And there it is.
Fourth leg, Jeffrey to throw first. Game on.
21 years old, Jeffrey Zwaan. Mentioned a smattering of appearances last year on the European Tour. He actually played in 4 of the first 5
85.
Euro Tour events of 2015, as well as the season-ending events in Sindelfingen. And then last year, just the 2 events he qualified for last year, the Austrian Darts Open and the International Darts Open in Riesa as well. First round defeats in both of those.
70.
He has been a little unfortunate with his draws on the Pro Tour, it has to be said. Let's just see if Tabern can fire in a match, which he does.
180.
Yeah, amongst that run of defeats, Zwaan's been handed first round draws against Mervyn King, Raymond van Barneveld, Benito van der Pas and Adrian Lewis.
85.
Amongst all that, so it's... Well, as an unseeded player, you can end up getting another unseeded player that's a similar level, a similar
140.
form line to yourself, or you can draw the number 1 seed on those Pro Tour events.
Sooner or later, you do have to play the big guns anyway.
81.
Twelve's here.
57.
And that was a terrific opportunity to break back. He still has a good opportunity to break back unless Zwaan can take out the biggest one of the lot. This would be a killer blow, but it won't happen for Zwaan here.
Well, we saw
38.
some big checkouts last weekend. See if Tabern can break straight back, which he does. Yeah, the 1-6-1 in the final. Rob, Peter Wright.
Fifth leg, Alan to throw first.
Michael Van Gerwen just having missed starts for that leg, and Peter Wright took out a 1-6-1. That's probably the shot of the European Tour so far. Up there with his 1-2-1 on the bull to win the final against Benito van der Pas.
Yeah. Thrilling final in Saarbrücken, 6-5 in the third Euro Tour event of the year. We're rattling through them at the moment. They're coming thick and fast. We've got 2 next month as well in Hamburg and Vienna.
Yeah, almost at the halfway stage. Number 5 out of 12, this one.
140.
And of course, also on the continent, the World Cup of Darts in Frankfurt.
140.
In June.
Later on in the year, the European Championship, which in effect is the Euro Tour finals now.
140.
Only money earned in these European Tour events count towards qualifying for the European Championship itself, which means
53.
Phil Taylor won't be there. Gary Anderson, unlikely to be there, hasn't entered any yet. I find it interesting. We'll talk about Peter Wright more tomorrow, but I find it interesting he's the only one of the 4 players in the semi-finals of the Premier League to come to this event. And I think he's the number 1 seed. If he turns up and wins it, could do the world of good for his confidence. That will do the world of good for Alan Tabern.
Fifth leg, Jeffrey to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, that European Order of Merit that you're talking about, Chris, is really taking shape already. Peter Wright has a cushion of £30,000 over Michael Van Gerwen at the moment, and if he does win, obviously that will be 55. So it's just another. Well, he just seems to have a different mentality at the moment, doesn't he? He talked, didn't he, about getting rid of all his runners-up trophies, and he's wanting to replace them all with winners' trophy, and he's certainly doing that this year, not just in Europe, but domestically as well, winning the UK Open in March,
59.
Going very well in the Premier League too, rounding things off. Just 3 defeats for Peter Wright.
Yeah, he walked past our commentary position last week, just before going on to the final, and he held 3 fingers up to say, this is going to be my 3rd European Tour title. Using the power of the law of attraction, Peter Wright. Well, they're attracted to the treble 20. 140 from Zwaan. Interesting as well for Jeffrey that he's not competed on the
95
development tour this year. You see the likes of Dimitri van den Berg. We worked out last weekend that van den Berg had... Oh, look at that from Zwaan. Yeah, van den Berg had only had 1 weekend off because he's been competing on the Pro Tour and the Development Tour.
100. Jeffrey requires 62.
The second max has put him on 62 to level up.
That's treble 6. So 44 remaining.
30.
By hook or by crook, he almost got there, but he will return. There's Dimitri van den Berg, by the way, also here this weekend as well. We'll see him later on in this opening round. Tabern just looking to apply some pressure here, and he's going the right way about it.
77. Jeffrey requires 32.
Leaving himself double 12. Zwaan here double 16 though.
To the 6th leg, you finish
to level things up once again.
Then flag Allen to throw first.
So just the 2 breaks of throw and 3 apiece. Bookies, as we said, had them evenly matched in the markets, and so far that decision is looking vindicated here.
Yeah, they're always right, Rob, aren't they?
Absolutely.
127.
Well, 177 in the previous leg for Tabern, effectively in vain, but it will have given him some confidence that he's got his range. And look at this.
135.
Narrow miss. 135 rather than 180. I just get a feeling, I was going to say, I just get a feeling that Tabern is starting to put his foot down a little bit, but Zwaan's right there with him.
43.
That just might have presented an opportunity here for Jeffrey Zwaan, but he's not made the most of it with that first start, and neither with the second.
85.
But he is down to a finish first on the Tabern throw.
$105. Jeffrey, you require 154.
Looking at 19s, another one will leave tops.
$80. And then you require 78. Short in the 7th leg, Alan Tabern.
Very efficient check out that from Alan Tabern. Zwaan just losing his way. It was an unlikely steal from Zwaan, but Tabern still had to do the business there and then.
Yeah, Zwaan got the break, did it in the 3rd leg, but Tabern hit back straight away and cancelled it out. And if it carries on throw, it will be Alan Tabern that moves through to the 2nd round tomorrow.
60.
Face Mensur Sulovic, winner of this, playing the number 2 seed here this weekend.
100.
Johnny Clayton just in pipe waiting backstage to come and make their first appearance of the weekend
70.
as well. They're on stage next. Was one of the eye-catching results of the qualifying,
100.
the UK qualifying. Tabern's win over Kyle Anderson, as you said, Chris. He was seeded number 3 as well. Kyle Anderson beat him 6-5. Rob Hewson 6-2, his other casualty.
125.
Zwaan came through the South and West European qualifiers in Sindelfingen earlier this month. They played that just before the European Tour event there.
81.
31 places in the order of merit separating these two as well. Zwaan at 66 and Tabern down at 97, or tied for 97.
120.
But a chance here for Tabern to just open up a little bit of a gap, but he's not really taken the opportunity here. All he can do. Okay, he's got 58 remaining. Yeah, treble 18 would have left double 12 next time, but it will
80.
be tops instead. Oh, sorry.
If you require 57.
There will be tops for Tabern. Zwaan here looking at 57. Needs this. Gets it as well.
Jeff is one. Now for Alan to throw first.
Yeah, difficult for Alan Tabern to build on his world ranking without having a tour card. Hasn't benefited from enough dropouts to play in a Players' Championship event yet this year. But he did qualify for the UK Open, and he got to the last 16 in mind, which was a fantastic run for Alan Tabern. Beat Mervyn King along the way before losing out to Raymond van Barneveld. And he ran
59.
Barney fairly close as well, a 10-7 defeat.
$60.
I do remember last year there was I won't say an abundance, but perhaps a
100.
significantly higher number than average of 6-5 matches in this tournament last year, I should say. The quarterfinals all went the distance, and this one could go the distance as well here. Opening match of the day.
Yeah, it's a race to 2.
100.
We talked about a 161 from Peter Wright. Tabern may be too clever to go for it, even if he is given the option, but he's fired one stray into the 5. Now looking to recover.
45.
Well,
Hasn't really done so.
Yeah, Zwaan will be pleased to see that, because he can. A 140 would really apply some pressure, but we've seen a lot of darts fly wide into the 5, and another one goes there as well.
17. Alan, you're 116.
Tabern will be wishing that Zwaan can do this in the next leg when it's on his throw as well, just to give him even more of an advantage.
98.
But, okay, he's not taken out double 18 there, but scoreboard still playing catch up here, by the way.
Yeah, he's left a dodgy double 9.
65. Alan, you require
and now he's going to have a little think whether to split or hit.
Yeah, scoreboard has been reset. So
just split.
Yeah. Double 8 then. For a 5-4 lead. Just takes a step back again here, Tabern. Big moments, big darts. 5-4 he leads.
Game on.
Pressure on Zwaan here. And once again, that first dart has strayed into the 5.
45.
And that will be music to the ears of Alan Tabern to hear George Noble say 45. Can he pounce all over it? So far, no.
60.
And he knows that was an opportunity just to apply a fair amount of pressure from the word go in this potentially final leg. We'll wait and see if that transpires. Better recovery this time from Zwaan.
Вирусная угроза была обнаружена.
100.
Well, I think there'll be a lot of punters still unsure where to put their 50p now, Rob. Zwaan is
100.
threatening to set up a decider.
$60.
Yep. He's in good shape here. Cushion of 50 plus whatever he throws in here. First dart again finds the 5. He's going to have to eradicate that pretty sharpishly if he wants to avoid a potential first round defeat here. Because Tabern is capable of punishing, but not
85.
capable in this particular visit. Very, very evenly poised in this 10th leg.
46.
Well, I was about to say it's Zwaan's to lose, but he's made an error there, and Tabern could steal the advantage. And the 140 when he returns may well have to go if he has hopes of continuing this weekend in Gibraltar.
Needed a treble there. Alan Tabern really did need a treble. It might be enough, assuming Zwaan does not finish here on 140, and he won't. So, Tabern, potentially 3 darts away from a place in the second round here.
55. And you require 136.
Big ask, but it has been done, of course. 136 would be a great way to finish things off. Not to be.
Yeah, just slightly low.
60. So for
For
you
the
require
first start.
85.
So, options here. May go treble 19 or 45. 45 was the plan, but it didn't work out for him. And now Tabern is going to get really a shot
29.
to nothing to win this match.
And you require 76.
Well, that was a very, very scratchy visit from Zwaan at the worst possible time. Tabern here, can he pounce all over it? 56 away. 18s then. For a 6-4 win for Alan Tabern.
58.
The agony goes on.
If you require 56.
Well, that's twice he's fired the dart inside the 18, and if he does come back, he may choose to split again. Last chance saloon, you feel, for Zwaan.
46.
And that was some way inside as well. There was a lot of
18.
nervous energy in that particular throw. So Tabern again looking at double 9. Now he split it last time, but it was a very different kettle of fish. It was a very different scenario. There's one here waiting, lurking on double 5 potentially. Tabern, which way will he go? He's gone straight for double 9 this time. It's slightly awkward pitch, but there's still plenty of room.
Shot.
And Alan Tabern takes out double 9 for a 6-4 victory. And Jeffrey Zwaan's first round agonies continue. 9 in the Pro Tour in the Players' Championship Series so far this year. Another first round exit today. Alan Tabern goes on, and he will set up a second round meeting against Mensur Suljovic in Gibraltar tomorrow in the second round. Johnny Clay